On a distant planet named Aralon, the sky burned with the glow of 1,000 suns. The beautiful green landscapes and sparkling rivers were now filled with fear. A cruel galactic empire had launched an attack, and the peaceful aliens of Aralon were in great danger. In the heart of the alien city, a council of leaders gathered in a large stone hall. The walls were adorned with images of their history, telling tales of bravery and strength. But today, those stories felt distant. The leaders sat around a circular table, worry etched on their faces. The leader of the council, Elder Rona, raised her hand for silence. "We must act quickly," she said, her voice steady but filled with concern. "The Empire's ships are closing in. If we do not seek help, we will lose everything." The room buzzed with anxious voices. "Who could help us?" asked a young council member, trembling. "No one has come to our aid in years. The Empire is powerful." Another leader, a warrior named KL, stood up. "I remember stories from my childhood," he said. "Legends of humans and their incredible warships. They fought against the Empire and won. Perhaps we should call for them." Elder Rona nodded slowly. "The humans are brave, but they have their own battles. We must send a message, even if it is a long shot." With determination, the council decided to send a distress signal to Earth, their last hope. They gathered around a large communication device, an ancient machine that crackled with energy. Elder Rona spoke into the device, her voice filled with urgency. "To whoever hears this message, we are the people of Aralon. The Galactic Empire attacks our home. We plead for your help. Our lives depend on it." As the message transmitted into the vastness of space, the council members felt a mixture of hope and fear. They had done all they could, but would anyone respond? On Earth, in a bright command center filled with advanced technology, the message reached a team of military leaders. The room was filled with screens showing maps of the galaxy. As the signal beeped loudly, a young officer named Lieutenant Sarah turned to her superiors. "Sir, we have received a distress call from a planet called Aralon. They are under attack by the Galactic Empire," she reported. The room fell silent as the leaders read the message. General Marcus, a strong man with a stern face, frowned. "The Empire is not to be taken lightly. We have faced them before, and they are ruthless. But if we ignore their call, we may lose an entire planet and its people," said Sarah, her voice filled with passion. "We cannot turn our backs on them." The leaders debated, weighing the risks. Finally, Captain Maya, known for her bravery and quick thinking, stood up. "We must send a warship. If we don't act now, we may regret it later. The humans have a chance to prove ourselves once again." General Marcus looked at her, considering her words. "You believe we can win against the Empire?" Captain Maya nodded. "I do. We have the technology, and we have the spirit of humanity behind us. Let's show them what we can do." After a tense silence, the general spoke. "Very well. Prepare the warship and gather a crew. We leave for Aralon at once." The team sprang into action, adrenaline coursing through their veins. They gathered the finest soldiers and engineers, ready to face the challenges ahead. Captain Maya felt a sense of determination swell within her. This was not just a mission, it was a chance to save lives and show the galaxy the strength of humanity. As the warship, named the Valor, powered up and prepared for launch, Maya looked out at the stars. She knew the journey would be dangerous, but she also knew they had to try. The fate of Aralon rested in their hands. Back on Aralon, the council waited anxiously for a response. Elder Rona felt a glimmer of hope. "We have done all we can. Now we must believe in the strength of others," she said, her heart pounding. As the sun set over Aralon, the aliens looked up at the sky, praying for the help they desperately needed. The message had been sent, and now they could only wait. Back on Earth, the Valor was ready for launch. The command center buzzed with energy as soldiers and engineers prepared for their mission. Captain Maya stood at the front, looking at her crew. She felt a mix of excitement and fear. The fate of an entire planet rested on their shoulders. "Listen up, everyone," she called out. "We are heading to Aralon to help a colony in danger. The Galactic Empire is attacking them, and they've called for our help. We must be ready for anything." The crew nodded, determination in their eyes. They knew the risks, but they also knew the importance of their mission. Each member felt proud to be part of something bigger than themselves. As the Valor lifted off the ground, the ship roared with power. The crew strapped into their seats, feeling the thrill of adventure. The stars twinkled outside the windows, and Captain Maya felt a sense of purpose. This was what they had trained for. "Engaging warp drive," shouted the pilot, a skilled woman named Jessica. The ship shook as it jumped into hyperspace, traveling faster than light. The crew exchanged nervous glances, but they were excited. They were on their way to save lives. Back on Aralon, Elder Rona and the Council watched the skies, hoping for a miracle. Days passed and fear gripped their hearts. Would help arrive in time? The sound of explosions echoed in the distance as the Empire continued its attack. Suddenly, a bright light appeared in the sky. The Council members gasped, their eyes wide with hope. A ship was descending. It was the Valor, its sleek form cutting through the clouds. "Is it them? Is it really humans?" Kale asked, almost in disbelief. "Yes, it must be," Elder Rona shouted, tears of relief in her eyes. The aliens gathered outside, cheering as the ship landed. They had not lost hope, and now their heroes had arrived. As the ship touched down, the crew of the Valor emerged, greeted by a crowd of anxious aliens. Captain Maya stepped forward, her heart racing. She could see the fear in their eyes, but also a glimmer of hope. "We are here to help," she announced, her voice strong. "Tell us what you need." Elder Rona approached, her expression grateful. "Thank you for coming. The Empire is relentless. They have taken many of our cities, and we fear for our people. We need your strength to fight back." Captain Maya nodded, determined to help. "We will do everything we can. Together we will drive them away." The crew quickly set to work, sharing their knowledge and technology with the aliens. The humans taught the aliens about their advanced weaponry and tactics, while the aliens shared their local knowledge of the terrain. As the sun set, they worked side by side, building a strong alliance. Captain Maya and Elder Rona developed a plan. They decided to create a defense strategy that would use both human and alien strengths. "Tonight we will prepare for battle," Captain Maya explained. "We need to be ready for their next attack. We will work together as one force." The aliens listened closely, inspired by the humans' courage. They felt a spark of hope igniting within them. For the first time in days, they believed they could fight back. Meanwhile, the Galactic Empire's ships loomed in the distance, their shadows darkening the sky. The commander of the Empire, a ruthless alien named General Korth, watched with satisfaction. He believed the planet would soon be his, and nothing could stop him. But on the ground, Maya and Rona rallied their people. The humans and aliens worked through the night, crafting weapons, setting up defenses, and preparing for battle. "Tomorrow we stand together," Maya said, looking at her team. "We will fight for each other. We will show the Empire that we are not afraid." As dawn broke over Aralon, the alliance of humans and aliens stood ready. They looked at each other, united by a common goal. They knew the fight ahead would be tough, but they felt stronger together. With courage in their hearts, they prepared to face the Empire, ready to defend their home. The Valor and its crew had arrived, and they would not back down. As dawn broke over Aralon, the atmosphere buzzed with anticipation. Captain Maya stood on the deck of the Valor, gazing out at the alien landscape. She felt a sense of determination. Today they would gather supplies and scout the enemy's movements. "Crew, gather around," she called, and her team quickly assembled. "Today we split into 2 teams. One will gather supplies from the nearest city, and the other will scout the area for the enemy. We need to know what we are up against." The crew nodded, ready for action. Jessica, the pilot, stepped forward. "I'll take the scouting team. We need to see where the Empire is positioned." "Good idea," Maya replied. "And remember, stay hidden. We don't want to attract any attention." As the teams prepared, Elder Rona joined them. "I will help guide you," she said, her voice filled with strength. "I know the land well and can show you safe paths." The crew split up and the Valor took off, soaring through the sky toward the nearest city. The sun shone bright, but a sense of urgency filled the air. They had little time before the Empire would attack again. Captain Maya led the supply team, consisting of skilled engineers and soldiers. They landed the ship near the city, and the crew quickly disembarked. The city was filled with tall, colorful buildings and bustling with life. However, fear lingered in the eyes of the aliens. "Let's move quickly," Maya said. "We need food, medical supplies, and anything we can use for defense." As they entered the market, they saw vendors nervously watching the skies. Maya approached a local vendor named Tarek, who looked worried. "We are here to help. We need supplies to fight against the Empire," she said, her tone urgent. Tarek nodded, understanding the seriousness of the situation. I will help you. Take what you need, but be careful. The Empire has spies everywhere. The crew quickly gathered supplies, loading their bags with food, weapons, and medical kits. They worked fast, knowing they had to leave before the Empire noticed them. Meanwhile, Jessica, Elder Rona, and the scouting team flew high above in a smaller ship. They moved silently through the clouds, scanning the ground for any signs of the enemy. Look, Jessica pointed to a clearing below. There are Empire ships stationed just beyond those trees. Rona squinted, her heart racing. We must inform the captain. They are closer than we thought. As they made their way back to the Valor, they felt a chill in the air. The Empire was preparing for an attack. They had to hurry. Once back on the ship, Jessica reported to Captain Maya. We found the enemy ships. They are gathering at a nearby clearing. We need to warn the others and prepare for battle. Maya nodded, her mind racing. We will use the element of surprise. We need to gather our forces and plan an attack. The crew quickly assembled, each member filled with determination. They shared the information Jessica and Elder Rona had gathered, discussing strategies. We can strike at dawn when they least expect it, suggested one of the soldiers. Their defenses will be weak. That's a good plan, Maya agreed. But we need to be ready for anything. The Empire won't go down without a fight. As they prepared for the upcoming battle, the crew worked tirelessly, checking their weapons and securing the ship. They were a united force, determined to protect Aralon at all costs. That night, the stars sparkled in the sky as they gathered for a brief meeting. Maya looked at her team, their faces illuminated by the starlight. Tomorrow is going to be tough. We are fighting not just for ourselves, but for the people of Aralon. Let's show them what we can do! The crew cheered, their spirits high. They felt a strong bond forming between the humans and the aliens. They were no longer just a group of individuals. They were allies fighting for a common cause. As the night wore on, they took turns keeping watch, knowing that the Empire was out there, waiting to strike. But they were ready. Together, they would face whatever challenges lay ahead. In the stillness of the night, a sense of hope filled the air. The journey had begun, and they were determined to fight for the freedom of Aralon. The battle would not be easy, but united as one, they believed they could prevail. As dawn broke over Aralon, the air was filled with tension. The crew of the Valor stood ready, hearts pounding with anticipation. Captain Maya gazed at her team, feeling the weight of their mission. Today, we fight for our lives and for the people of Aralon. Let's make our stand! The crew nodded, determination shining in their eyes. They moved swiftly, checking their weapons and preparing their battle gear. They were ready to face the Empire, and they would not back down. The sun rose, casting a golden light over the clearing where the enemy ships were gathered. In the distance, dark clouds loomed, hiding the Empire's forces. Maya knew they had to act quickly. Jessica, take us above the enemy ships. We need to see their movements, Maya ordered. The Valor lifted off, rising above the trees. From their vantage point, they could see the Empire's ships lined up, their metallic surfaces gleaming ominously. Soldiers in dark armor prepared for battle, and the ground troops looked ready to strike. There are too many of them, Jessica whispered, her voice tense. We need to hit hard and fast. Agreed, Maya replied. We will launch a surprise attack. Let's use our advantage. The crew moved into position, ready to drop down and attack the enemy. Maya signaled for the crew to prepare their weapons. The sound of engines roared as the Valor zoomed down toward the enemy fleet. Suddenly, alarms blared from the Empire ships. They've spotted us, Jessica yelled. Deploy smoke bombs, Maya commanded. We need to create cover. The crew quickly released smoke bombs, filling the air with thick, dark clouds. The Valor zipped around the enemy ships, the crew firing lasers at the approaching forces. Chaos erupted as the Empire troops scrambled to respond. Maya felt a rush of adrenaline as they engaged in battle. The bright flashes of light from their weapons illuminated the smoke-filled skies. Stay focused! Maya shouted to her crew. Aim for their engines. We need to disable their ships. They worked as a team, each member playing their part. Jessica maneuvered the ship with skill, while other crew members targeted the enemy with precision. One by one, the enemy ships began to fall, smoke rising from their disabled engines. On the ground, Elder Rona and the Aralonian soldiers joined the fight. They rushed into battle, armed with weapons that Maya had provided. The aliens fought bravely, fueled by the hope that the humans had brought. Push forward! Rona shouted, rallying her people. Fight for our homes! Fight for freedom! The battle raged on, and the sounds of blaster fire echoed through the air. The humans and aliens fought side by side, forming a powerful alliance. They moved with determination, refusing to give up despite the overwhelming odds. But the Empire was relentless. General Korth watched from his flagship, fury filling his eyes. "They cannot win! Prepare the ground troops for an all-out assault," he ordered. As the enemy reinforcements poured into the battlefield, Maya knew they needed a new plan. "We have to hold them off until we can regroup," she yelled to her crew. "We can't let them break our lines." With every passing moment, the battle grew fiercer. The Empire troops pushed forward, trying to break through the defenses set by Maya and her team. It was a fight for survival, and they needed to hold their ground. In the chaos, a sudden explosion rocked the battlefield. Jessica gasped as a blast from an enemy ship hit the Valor, sending them spiraling. "We're hit!" she shouted, trying to regain control. "Get us back in the fight!" Maya shouted, her heart racing. "We can't give up now!" With determination, Jessica stabilized the ship and returned to the fray. The crew quickly fired back, taking down enemy ships one by one. But as the dust settled, they could see that the battle was far from over. The Empire was regrouping, their forces still strong. The humans and aliens needed to stay united to stand a chance. Maya looked at her team, determination filling her heart. "We will not back down! Together we fight!" she shouted, her voice echoing across the battlefield. With renewed strength, they pushed forward, their alliance stronger than ever. They would fight for their homes, their lives, and each other. The battle raged on, but they knew they were not alone. They were a united force, and they would not let fear take them down. The battle had raged for hours, leaving destruction in its wake. Smoke filled the air, and the sounds of blaster fire and explosions echoed through the battlefield. Captain Maya and her crew fought valiantly alongside the Aralonians, but the Empire's forces seemed endless. As the sun began to set, casting a crimson glow over the horizon, Maya realized they needed a change. They had to turn the tide of this battle. "We must regroup," she shouted, trying to rally her crew amidst the chaos. "We need to find a way to strengthen our forces." Just then, a familiar figure emerged from the smoke. It was Elder Rona, covered in dirt and dust, but still standing tall. "Captain Maya," she called, her voice strong. "We need to talk. The Empire is vulnerable, but we must act quickly." Maya approached Rona, her heart racing. "What do you have in mind?" "The enemy is overconfident. They believe we are on the brink of defeat. If we can create a diversion, we can strike their command center," Rona explained. "If we take out their leaders, it will confuse their troops and give us the upper hand." Maya nodded, seeing the sense in Rona's plan. "Then let's gather our forces and prepare for a surprise attack. We need to work together to make this happen."